Exomologiste to Kyrio te agathos, alleluia.
Otis ton neona to eleos aftu, alleluia.
Right.
You come in. Come in.
Are you wanting to come in and debate?
Can you give that to your friend when you see it?
Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions on the topic? Go on. Do you want to debate now? Do you want to debate now? Do you want to debate now? Do you want to debate now?
I need to be more prepared.
Yeah, you do.
I just do want to ask one question. No,
Go on.
I like to go through my notes first before I debate. I just come for a walk and happen to pass.
All right.
There's one question
Yeah,
I
go on.
want to ask you. Is it acceptable to you for like an agnostic like me to take inspiration from the teachings of Jesus Christ regarding love, but without necessarily believing that there's a conscious deity or that there was such a thing as the resurrection?
Okay. I understand the question. You've asked your question, sir. I understand the question. Let me explain. I have no problem with non-Christians being inspired by Jesus. What's wrong with that? We want everyone to be inspired by Jesus. But the question that I would ask you is this. Two questions. One, why are you finding Jesus so inspirational? And two, if you find him so inspirational, why don't you accept the rest of his teachings? And that would include the resurrection and the deity. Any other questions on the topic? No, I've offered you a debate. Let someone else ask a question. Any other questions? Or you can come and debate. All right, come on then. Thank you. And just to the old fart that interrupted me and got in my face last time, this is how you do it. Go on.
Okay, so as much as the teachings of Jesus Christ would be very inspirational and beneficial for people to follow, that in itself is not enough evidence for me to believe that there's a conscious deity, because I have a very empirical mindset. I'm like a fucking detective in a courtroom. Yeah? If I need to believe that there is a God in the sky and that the resurrection did happen, I want to see hard empirical evidence of it.
Can I reply?
Not just because it was written in the Bible.
Can I reply? So firstly, ladies and gentlemen, the terms by which he demands evidence are themselves irrational terms. Let me explain why. Because he wants an empirical natural evidence to a supernatural being. The very word supernatural means above nature, which means you would not expect to find physical evidence of such a supernatural being. But, ladies and gentlemen, there are pointers to the existence of God. Let me give him just one. Language, no madam, language is dependent upon mind. Mathematics is a language. Mathematics is not something that we're not something that we invent. It is something that we are learning from nature, and we are discovering that it is encoded in nature, and that means we are learning the language of another mind, a mind greater than our own, who wrote into the very laws of nature his own language, mathematics, ladies and gentlemen, and that mind we call God. God.
So the term supernatural is basically a code word for I can't prove it, there is no evidence. But the nature of religious belief is a faith. And the word faith is another term for hope. I hope that God exists. I would like God to exist. It's not real knowledge. None of us can know for sure whether God exists or not. I'm not saying that it doesn't, because I don't know. I'm just saying it's impossible to know. It's beyond our comprehension. So religious belief is merely a faith. It's not knowledge. There's a difference between knowledge and faith.
Can I reply? Yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. We act by faith all the time. When you marry a partner, you don't know how the next 40 years are going to pan out, but you do it by faith. When you step outside your door, you don't know how your day's going to pan out, but you do it by faith. Faith is a natural virtue of the human temperament, and incidentally, it is the virtue that God values the most, ladies and gentlemen, after love. And so, God wants us to come to Him in faith. Faith, ladies and gentlemen, is not hope. Hope is hope. That's why faith is not called hope. Faith is the certainty of things unseen. It is the acting now on the reality yet to be realized, ladies and gentlemen. Hope is the idea that when you act, it will be to the good, ladies and gentlemen, for the good. These are two separate things, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is metaphysics. Metaphysics is not natural. Where can you point to hope? Where can you point to faith? Where's the lab experiment that I can do to identify love? And so, yet we still operate by these metaphysical, supernatural realities because they are real. They are part of the real world. And so the real world is not limited to the material world, and we can know about it without material evidence, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to thank you, Bob, for a great debate. I was really enjoying it.
Yep, it was.
He's still not changed my mind, though, but I'll never change his mind either, but it's still great to debate.
Right, it was.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
Let me give you a gift. Lovely to talk with you.
You too.
There you go. Oh, no, not that one. Let me find you a different one. Bear with us. I have many. There you go.
And I might add also, I've read many of these before and it didn't change my mind, but you know what? I'll accept the gift because it comes from a place of love.
It does.
Thank you, Bob.
You look after yourself.
You too, mate.
Right, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions on the topic?
What topic?
Should pay attention, Steve. Right, look.
Sorry, question. Why didn't you say anything about like the historical evidence about Jesus?
Because you've got to tune your arguments to the people that you're speaking to. And I think that this person, because he's agnostic and is demanding scientific evidence, mathematics is used in science. So for me, I think the mathematical argument will be the one that speaks to him the most, rather than a historical argument, because I suspect he doesn't know anything about how we do history.